Hey everyone, so welcome to part two of how to pass the prop firm challenges. So obviously we went over sort of the mindset that was needed for passing, say, an FTMO or funding talent or a MyForex funds, for example, prop firm challenge. And on part two, we're going to go over the biggest mistakes to look out for and trying to avoid when obviously completing these challenges. Obviously, as I've said, it's going to be a four-part series. So thank you for joining us for part two. If you've already watched part one, if you haven't, obviously find the link in the bio or the description below. And obviously like, follow, subscribe if you want to follow obviously onto part 3 and 4. So part 2 is all about the biggest mistakes. Part 3 is going to be about the repeatable process that is necessary. And then part 4, we're going to give examples of the sort of repeatable processes with different, whether you're scalper, day trader, swing trader, on the actual charts as well. So really looking forward to that as well. Now, when it comes to the biggest mistakes, let's firstly talk about the rushing, the lack of patience, because these challenges always mainly come with a particular time window to complete them. Normally, the challenge itself is 30 days with majority of these prop firm challenges. And then normally the verification is 60 days, which in total is what? 90 days. Now, remember that famous saying in trading, which is 90% of traders lose 90% of their money in 90 days. So it's just very, very interesting how these prop firm challenges essentially give you a window of 90 days to complete them, which kind of backs up my point of what I was saying in the mindset one, which was that these prop firms are designed to make their money from the continuous signups and failures, if you will, of traders. And that's why they give such a window. Now, when it comes to the biggest mistakes, rushing is one of the biggest ones, because at the end of the day, you have no need to rush. As I just said, you've had 30 days, which is about 20 trading days, to complete the challenge, which is absolutely plenty. Obviously, this does rely on a high risk to reward and decent strike rate. I'd say at least about 40 to 50% strike rate, depending on the risk to reward you're going for, which we'll go into more detail when we go into the repeatable process. But having a high risk to reward system is really going to be beneficial, because then you won't feel as much pressure to complete your challenge, for example, in a very fast amount of time, because you know that your edge will give you that in the market. Well, if you're trading, say, 1-to-1, 1-to-2, I can imagine that would be a bit more difficult, and that pressure will be there. So really working on your edge first before you jump into said challenge is very important as well. Now, one of the biggest advice I've seen, or not advice, sorry, but one of the biggest issues I've seen, should I say, and the advice that I give to my traders is based on that. I've seen many traders rush the challenge, trying to complete it in a week or in the first day in one trade, when there's no need, right? You have ample of days to give yourself a good chance of passing. Take your time, wait for the correct setups. Remember that majority of these challenges do offer the fact that if you do finish in profit, you'll get a free retry. So make sure you don't rush. There's no need to rush. At the end of the day, treat it as you would with any trading account. Yes, we have these parameters in place, but as I said in the first video, that these parameters are used to throw you off plan, cause you to stress, cause you to sort of become unbalanced, either feeling super positive or negative in your approach to the markets. And we want to be coming to the market with a balanced approach. Now, all you need is 8 to 10%, right? All you need is 8 to 10%. So funding talent obviously offer 8% as a target for challenge, for example, and 4% for verification. And then the verification, FTMO, sorry, offer 10 and 5%. And MyForex funds, I believe, is the same, 10 and 5%. Now, I realize that actually, I think it's a weird thing, right? Like the first, in the less amount of time, you need to make the profit, which is higher, so 8 or 10. And then, yeah, with 60 days, so double the time, you need to make less. Why is that? Again, it's feeding into that rushing mentality. People have just passed 10% or 8% on a smaller window, and now they need to make less. Suddenly they're rushing. Okay, I can do that. I've just done that. Let me just do that now, right? Boom. They failed the challenge, money taken, pay for another one, do it again. And that's the cycle that most traders go through, continuous, without taking that step back and realizing these mistakes that are made and are very common before deciding to take out another one or even take one out in the first place. So realize that if you follow your plan and you have, again, the correct edge, repeatable process that we'll go into in part 3, then you'll be able to pass with ease and confidence a FTMO or one of these prop firm challenges. Because at the end of the day, for example, you have a 50-50 strike rate, take 20 trading days. And we'll show this properly on the next section, with maybe an example on a whiteboard or a chart. But if you take 20 trading days, 50-50 strike rate, one trade a day, for example, with a minimum of 1 to 5, 10 losers, 10 winners, right? Risking less, even if it's 5%, for example, right? Sorry, not 5%, 0.5% risk, right? 10 losers in those 20 Js will be 5%, right? 10 winners on a 1 to 5 is going to be 25%, therefore giving you 20% return, which is 10 to 12% over the actual amount that you're looking to get. And that's just one example of a repeatable process. We'll go into more detail of that on the next session. But again, following your plan is paramount to your success as a trader overall, let alone passing a prop firm challenge. Now, over risking or allowing the challenge to change your plan is something that we've seen so many times, where traders will rush and they'll start risking 1%, start stacking trades, and just going off plan in general, because they want to pass so badly. They want to get it as fast as possible. They may have the mentality in their mind that, okay, let me just pass this aggressively, and then once I have it, then I'll follow my plan. But time and time again, I've seen traders who have that mentality and then go into drawdown very quickly in the first few days, and then they find themselves kind of crippled by what to do next. Don't put yourself in that situation. Again, of course, the correct mindset, as we said in part 1, but also hopefully you do the due diligence of actually doing the work necessary to have a system, have a plan that gives you a profitable edge in order to pass these challenges. And hopefully the repeatable process section, which will be part 3, is really going to help you identify that for sure. Now, even passing your challenge, same applies when it goes live, right? I've seen so many people who stick to their plan, which is kind of the opposite of what we've just talked about. They stick to their plan when doing the challenge and the verification, and when it goes live, that's when they switch, because now it counts, right? Now it's real, and they let their emotions take over of how much they want to make, and again, they end up failing. Now, an example I should give you is that most people would really be able to sort of be full-time traders, or at least really enhance their life with just making between maybe $4,000 to $5,000 or pounds or euros a month, right? They could really enhance their lives. Now, on, let's say, even $100,000 account with any of these challenges, that's 4 to 5%. When you include your profit splits, you're talking about maybe 8 or 9%, which is extremely achievable. And that's just on the 100K. And now imagine if you were doing the maximum funding. So let's say 400K with FTMO. We're talking as little as about 5%, maybe 4% a month to hit that amount. Now I know, okay, that our minds naturally want the most, and we need to control that greed though, because at the end of the day, if you haven't gone consistently 4,000 to 5,000, or even maybe 3,000 to 4,000, we don't jump step straight to 10 to 20 to 30. We need to go through the processes. We need to go through each level, if you will, before you level to the next level, right? Until you lock the next zero, if you will, the next income stream. And as I've always said, one thing I always say to our Vipers is that you're going to start off by making side income, then part-time income, then it will match your full-time income. Then you want to increase it past your full-time income. And only at that point do you really, once that's consistent as well, do you really think about becoming a full-time trader and making bigger decisions based on that. But until then, you got to take it slow, right? And you got to be okay and happy with the profits. Think about what you can do consistently and not just a get rich quick, like sort of lottery made 40% on an FTMO account. Think correctly, okay? Now, risk management above all else. This is one of the biggest things. So, for example, one of the biggest advices I give for prop firm challenges is risking 0.5%. Especially when you have the account as well, risking 0.5%, because again, you have that drawdown window, 5% max daily, which I think is absolutely fair. Most people shouldn't, if anyone really, shouldn't be risking 5% in a day. It's very reckless, I would say. However, 10% overall is a little bit on the tighter side. By risking 0.5%, what it does for you is gives you 20 trades to let your edge play out, which is fantastic. When it's a live account, you could even risk 0.25% to begin with, whilst you build a little profitable buffer, if you will, and then start to increase the risk to half, and then maybe 1%, depending on obviously how much profit you then make. But risk management is the biggest thing when keeping and passing these prop firm challenges, because that's what's going to keep you in the game. Okay, and that's what's going to limit your exposure and what's going to keep you, hopefully give you that longevity as well when it comes to keeping the account, right? Because that's one of the biggest things. Once you pass the challenge and verification, that's not over. If anything, it ups the stake now, because now you have to manage this account consistently. You don't just want to have this account for 1 month or maybe even 1 week, because then it's useless for 1 week. You want to have it for hopefully a lifetime, as long as possible, and consistently make money that you can then fund yourself, increase your savings, even fund your own personal trading account that you can then have no rules on when it comes to obviously the drawdown and minimum trading days, etc. So keep all these things in mind. Hopefully they were helpful when it comes to noticing the biggest mistakes that traders make when doing these prop firm challenges. Let me know in the comments below if there's any mistakes that you've made that I haven't suggested that could help others. And just let me know your thoughts in general. But click subscribe. Obviously, part 3, as I said, we're going to go into the repeatable process. And we'll hopefully that'll be a bit of a bigger video, because we're going to go into detail as much as possible of what you need to be thinking about and should be included, not only with the charts and your technical sort of strategy, but also outside of trading and sort of your daily routine. And then obviously part 4 will be going into examples of those on the actual charts. So again, hope you enjoyed, and we'll catch you on the next one.